People probably don't know this, but you're actually a part of some very well-known movies because you did the Spanish dubs for like Shrek.
If you have the DVD and you switch to Spanish, I'm Donkey's voice for Shrek. But also, I did the adaptation of the script to Spanish. So I got I have all the reviews from Jeffrey Katzenberg that he said,
Yeah.
I don't understand Spanish, but I can tell that it's funnier in Spanish. And that's because we add a lot of jokes to the script.
Oh, that's
so in
fun.
Spanish, it's the original jokes plus many others in Spanish.
That you threw in there that he had no idea what the hell they were.
Exactly, but it worked really well.
Yeah.
And,
Don't tell Eddie Murphy.
Señor Juárez, no lo vi en la Junta de Maestros esta mañana.
Sí, es que tenía varias cosas que cambiar aquí en mi salón.
Sí, ya vi. ¿Tiene algún problema con los muebles?
No, bueno, nomás contra algunos.
Como su escritorio, por ejemplo.
Es que creo que no necesito un escritorio.
No. Tiene que tener un escritorio. Todos los maestros tienen uno.
¿Hay alguna regla escrita que diga que tengo que tener uno?
No es una de esas reglas escritas, pero si no, ¿cómo van a saber los niños quién está a cargo? ¿Quién es la autoridad? Dígame, si convierte su salón de clases en un patio de recreo, ¿qué va a hacer después? ¿Convertir el patio en un salón de clases? ¿Cuál es su historia, profesor?
¿A qué se refiere?
Este lugar. ¿Sabe cómo le dicen?
La escuela de castigo.
Exacto.
Sí.
Y su nombre era el primero en la lista de transferencia. El único, de hecho. Usted pidió venir aquí.
Ajá.
¿Para qué?
Pues, quizá estoy loco.
Me estás oyendo de algo.
No, solo quería probar algo distinto.
¿Cómo qué?
No sé. Sigo tratando de descubrirlo.
Welcome to the Actor's Side. Today, one of the most well-known faces and stars, I think, internationally, when you see what he's done, and of course, from his native Mexico, where he is easily the #1 star, and he's so shy. But the movies are on and on in terms of comedy. Instructions Not Included, the most successful Spanish language movie when it opened, and The Valet, Overboard, How to Be a Latin Lover. I could go on and on. His latest film, Radical, is a smash hit, not only in Mexico, but here in America as well. I think there's a reason for that. Please welcome Eugenio Derbez. Hi.
Thank you. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We were just talking about the success of Radical, which is really a rare dramatic foray for you in films. You've done them, but this is a big leading role in a not a comedy, as it were.
Exactly. No, and this is my first dramatic role starring in a movie.
Yeah.
Because I've done a couple of things like Coda
Yes, of
last year.
course.
That it's
Won a SAG award with that great moment on the SAG Awards
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and then went on to win Best Picture. You're on stage with everybody at the Academy Awards. I mean, man.
It was the best moment in my career and my life, and that was a dramatic role also. But this one is the first time I'm starring in a movie in a dramatic role, and you know, my audience been knowing me for comedy basically.
Yeah.
So I'm more a comedian. So we were like kind of afraid of the reaction of my core audience.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for the right moment to release Radical.
Yeah.
So after Coda came out, we thought it was the perfect moment to release Radical.
And definitely, and like Coda, it started life at the Sundance Film Festival.
Yes, exactly.
You're a good luck charm for them, or they're a good luck charm for you.
One of the. Yeah, but definitely, it's the second time, and it won. Well, Coda won all the awards.
Won every single award, which I'd never heard of. It won 4 awards at Sundance.
For all of them, actually.
Yeah.
And then Radical won best, the favorite, the audience award,
Audience award,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been winning audience awards as this movie has been playing the festival circuit, as they say.
6
Right and
already.
left. You've won 6.
6. Sundance, Mill Valley, Newport Beach Film
Wow, yeah.
Festival, many others.
Yeah,
Thank
the
God.
Netherlands.
And
I
the
heard.
Netherlands, one in the Netherlands 3 days ago, and where we were competing against Ferrari and Priscilla
Right.
and many other amazing films. And so I'm really surprised and happy.
You know, it's amazing, the connection, because you keep talking about Coda and Radical. You play a teacher in both of them.
Yes, it was a coincidence, but it happens.
Yeah, of course, you were a music teacher and an inspiration to the lead girl there, where you really spot talent, and you know, you're like Sidney Poitier in To Sir with Love.
Exactly,
or
exactly.
As you are in Radical too, but Radical also gets his name because he is not a conventional teacher, I think, you know.
Yeah, it's well, first of all, it's based on a true story
Yeah.
that happened in 2012, where this 12-year-old girl was named by the Wired magazine here in the U.S. like the next Steve Jobs, and it was incredible because she was born and raised next to a landfill.
Yeah.
And literally in the trash. So in a small town in Mexico City, in Mexico, in Matamoros, Mexico. So I remember that I was in Mexico in 2012 back then, and I was watching the news, and I saw that everyone was talking about this, the cover of the magazine, and this 12-year-old girl being considered a genius, and I wanted to know more. So when I moved to this country, and the journalist who wrote the original article offered us the rights to make the movie, I immediately said yes, because it's the kind of story that I want to tell. And more when I learned that it was a teacher behind her.
Which is amazing. And you are a producer as well, along with Ben O'Dell, your partner in your production company. You've produced all these movies, a lot of them that I named here, and it's very successful. It's not a vanity project for an actor who just wants to do that. You are a genuine producer here.
Well, I try always to go with the things that resonate with what I like to watch, first of all. And also, since I moved to this country, I'm trying to portray Latinos in a more positive way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there was a lot of cliches. I remember that when I was trying to do the crossover here in the U.S., I was constantly offered the same kind of roles, you know, the drug lord, the
drug cartel roles, yeah.
The gang member, the murderer.
Have they not seen the movies that you made?
Well, I don't think so, but and then I promised myself, if I have a chance, I will try to portray Latinos in a more positive way.
Yeah.
And for example, Radical, even it's a very tough film. It's raw.
Yeah.
We're not hiding anything. It's real. It's powerful, but we're also showing the other part. We want to put the spotlight in the good guys also, not just the bad guys. And Sergio, the teacher, and Paloma, this girl, are the ones that we need to focus on.
Yeah, and doesn't it prove you right in this too, that it's doing so well at the box office? We were talking before, it's holding in Mexico where it opened, so it's not losing theaters. It's not, the word of mouth is taking hold. People want these kinds of stories. It's inspirational.
Absolutely. I mean, this, for example, this next week is going to be the 4th weekend in Mexico, and it's holding, and it's not dropping, it's sustaining. And I think it's because people want to see more stories like this one. We have no special effects, basically. Well, nothing.
Yeah.
But it's more about the storytelling,
More
than a big production. And sometimes it's more valuable to have a great story that moves you than having tons of special effects and nothing here.
So you have to tell me this story about what happened the first day of shooting, which I haven't heard of this kind of thing before. The kids, most of whom aren't professional actors, but they're cast in this movie, did not even know you were going to be in the movie or who the teacher was or anything. And so it was a big surprise. Why? Why do it that way? And what were the risks?
Well, first of all, the director didn't want professional actors for the kids. I mean, for
Yeah.
the kid roles. He wanted just kids.
Right.
And actually, one of the kids, Nico, he was the son of one of the guys who was handling the flyers, asking for actors. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in being an actor in a movie, call us. And he was like handing the flyers. And one day he said, "Come on, come with me. Let's just go to work." And then we're going to the casting agency. And then when they were there, he told him, "Nah, just do the casting, just to keep him entertained." And he ended up in the movie. So anyway,
He's great too.
the thing is that the director wanted to surprise them, and because I have a show that a lot of kids watch, that it's like a comedy show.
Oh yeah.
Kind of for kids. So the director wanted that real reaction from them when they see me for first time. So
Yeah.
the first time I'm in the movie where the kids discover that they have a new teacher, the reaction that they had is the original reaction. They were like a little bit like, because they were never told I was going to be there. And they thought it was with a small independent movie with
Right.
some actor. And then it was me, and they were really, really surprised. Actually, the director told me that he had to cut a lot of that because the kids were like overreacting.
Right.
To the.
Did they call you Eugenio or not?
Yeah, they were like, it's Eugenio. So, so it was really funny, and but it worked. And some pieces that he could took from the original reaction were really useful.
What working with kids, and particularly mostly non-professionals, is a challenge, and it can be, right? And so a lot of improv, or how did you approach it as an actor working with kids here?
Well, I've worked with a lot of kids lately for some strange reason, just coincidence. And I learned a lot about how to handle kids and on set. And they're not sometimes emotionally prepared to get into some action or some feelings when in the right moment. So there were some moments where we need to shoot some scenes that were hard. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene when I'm trying to look in a backpack. Some other where the kids were not getting where we wanted. So I remember telling Chris, the director, just give me like 15 minutes, start shooting, don't tell him. I'll go back to set and I'll do some stuff and let's see what happens.
Right.
And he never knew we were recording, and I started working with him and getting like to another place. And that's how we could get where we wanted, because they're not trained sometimes to say action and get in the emotion that we wanted. So it was very interesting, but it was a lot of work too.
Yeah. Is it a completely different kind of experience that you've had making a movie?
Yes, especially because we were working 30 hours a day, 10, 12 hours a day with kids. Some of them not the entire day, some of them like half a day, and the others the other half of the day. It was complicated. It's an independent movie, so there's no money for a lot of stuff. And we had to handle the kids in a very different way. It's not like the usual way you handle kids that are actors, because they are not. These guys were not professional actors.
When, in your experience, all these movies you've had, and in Mexico in particular, I'm curious as to what it was like when it premiered in Mexico, when the audience is actually there. Could you compare it to other movies you've done and audience reaction, or was there something really different this time?
This time I was telling, I remember my family was not there because all of them were working, and I told them this is probably the most emotional premiere I've had in my entire career. I don't know what happens with this movie, but the audience are really touched.
Yeah.
And I remember that my best friends were crying so bad. I had two friends that they couldn't even speak.
Wow.
They were trying to to say something, and they were like, and they couldn't speak. And I was
Wow.
like really in awe. And also the fact that we had the real teacher
Yeah.
and the real kid, the
Right.
Paloma, in real life. They
Yeah.
were at the premiere. And at the end, they were crying. We hugged, and it was a very, very emotional moment. So everyone was like in tears and touched by the fact that they were there,
Yeah.
and because the story is really
Were they on
powerful.
set ever, or did you work closely with them, meet with them to get it just right?
Yes, we wanted to be really truthful
Mhm.
with the storytelling, and since we were writing the script, Sergio and the writer were in touch all the time, and then I was always asking Sergio, "How was your approach with the kids? I don't want to exaggerate anything or change anything."
Right.
So he was on set like for a couple of weeks,
Oh, wow.
telling me exactly how he managed the kids, how he interacted with the kids.
Yeah.
So everything that you see on screen is basically supervised by Sergio.
Wow. And this is like having somebody like that there would make me freak out because you're playing
Absolutely.
his life. I mean, there's a certain responsibility as an actor that you didn't have in like Overboard or some of those movies.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
remember that one day I was shooting, and before I mean, probably it was the fourth, fifth day, and all of a sudden, a production assistant came and said, "Sergio is here," and I was like, "The real Sergio?" I was like, "Yes, he's here." I was like, "Where is he?" "He's in the monitors,
Oh,
watching you."
oh my God.
So I was like panicked. I literally I was like, "Ugh," because of that, because you're playing a human being that exists, that he's watching you, but on the other hand, it was very useful because I could ask all the questions that I had.
Mhm.
I was always like, "Am I doing right? Let me
Yeah.
know if I'm doing something different," because I really want to be as truthful as possible. So
Yeah.
that was really useful, but it was intimidating at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah, that's wild. So the success you've been having lately in America, you're very recognizable now. You know, you did Coda, which was an incredible movie that on the surface you would say, wow, how did that become such an Academy Award-winning movie? Did you guys have any idea when you're making that movie with a mostly deaf cast, Marlee Matlin, obviously, and, you know, Troy Kotsur, who
Also.
won the Oscar.
And Daniel too, he was deaf too.
And Daniel, the brother. Did you have any idea that it would have the impact that it had?
No. We all felt that we had something special. I mean, the minute we were shooting it, I remember that we had chills many times when we were watching. We were doing the takes, and then the director was really open to come and watch, and we were like moved every single time. So we knew that we had something special, but we never, ever thought we were going to have a chance at the Oscars, for example.
Yeah.
Ever. Even when we were there that day, I remember that I was enjoying the ceremony because, when you're like competing, you are like nervous.
Right.
We were not at all because
Yeah.
I was like, there's no chance we're gonna win because we were against, all this huge productions with big names. It was Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Adam Driver, Lady Gaga, Al Pacino,
Will Smith,
Will
famously.
Smith, everyone. So it was like, there's no way a small independent movie with no Hollywood names it's gonna win. So I was really enjoying the night. And the winner is Coda. I was like, literally, I don't remember anything after that. It was like, blurred, slow motion. It was unbelievable. We never ever expected that was going to happen.
Maybe you should have read my predictions. I knew you were going to win.
Thank you. I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah. You know, you have had such success in comedy. Really, like, you know, is that your comfort zone? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you always know you were going to just be a comic superstar?
No. Actually, my mom was the queen of telenovelas in Mexico and Latin America.
Ah.
She did the first telenovela ever in Latin America.
Right.
The first one.
Wow.
I don't know if I need to check also in the entire country, but she was the first telenovela, the first actress doing a telenovela in Mexico and Latin America. And she was a great dramatic actress,
Yeah.
very famous and well known. So I always wanted to be a dramatic actor my entire life.
Oh, wow.
And I started as a dramatic actor. But for some reason, nothing happened during all those years that I was trying to do drama. And then one day they invited me to a comedy show, and then I didn't know that I was funny until I got into this kind of a sketch show. And then I discovered that I was funny. And then I started doing comedy, but I always wanted to do drama. It was something inside of me that I was, But then when I was already successful in Mexico, I tried to do drama, but nobody was giving me the chance. They were like, come on, you are. And they were like naming my characters. You know, you are, imagine like, could be, I don't know, because here in America is different. They give the chance to Robin Williams or Will Smith or... But in Mexico, it was like you are a comedian and there's no way.
That's interesting because comedians are often the best dramatic actors.
Yes. And you know, that's my theory.
Yeah.
Comedians, we have to hide pain all the time.
Right.
If I'm sad, if I'm angry, if I remember when my mom passed away or my dad, people are always expecting you to smile, or you go to work and they want you to be funny. So you're always hiding the pain no matter what. Even in one day you're sad or angry or tired or whatever, you go to the supermarket, people in the supermarket wants to see you smiling and telling jokes.
Yeah.
So you're always hiding the pain. So when you have the chance to finally bring all that out, I feel that's why we have a lot inside to give.
Exactly, right?
That's my theory.
You still love comedy.
Yeah, but I still love comedy, and I don't want to, I just want to expand my horizon, but not quit comedy.
Do you want to do comedy here, more comedy here in America and that kind of thing?
I love it. Actually, yes. I mean,
Oh, you were going to say, actually, I've got a project, and you're going to tell me all about it now.
More or less, but
yeah.
No, I love comedy. It's my safe place. I love doing comedy, but I'm just expanding my horizons to drama too.
What do you think when you walk down the street and you're just instantly recognizable anywhere you go in the world?
Well, it's different. In Mexico, I can't walk.
Right.
Here, sometimes I'm like any other person because they don't know me. I remember that. Let me tell you an anecdote. When I moved to Los Angeles, I went and I moved to Pacific Palisades.
Oh yeah.
And my business partner told me, "Oh, this is the whitest neighborhood in the area.
Yeah,
so you're
close.
not gonna, no one is gonna recognize you."
Yeah.
And then I went to a Starbucks, and immediately all the waiters and the and the gardeners that were around and everyone was there, and my business partner was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Well, you didn't count on the bartenders, the waiters. All of them are Latinos, so they knew me." So it was really funny.
And like I said before, very successful in producing. You know exactly what you want to do, and you make these projects happen, which is important. Not everyone can do that.
Well, I discovered when I was young that if nobody, you cannot let your life and your career in some others' hands.
Right.
You need to take your life and your career in your hands, and that's why I learned that I need to produce my own stuff.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, if I get an invitation to do Coda or the Nutcracker or Dora or Geostorm and many other films that I've been invited to as an actor, it's okay. But meanwhile, I have to produce my own stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've been navigating Hollywood all these years.
Thank you so much, Eugenio Derbez. Thanks for joining us today on The Actor's
Thank you
Side.
for inviting me. Thank you very much.